and welcome to episode 53 of the Indie String Podcast. I'm your host, Kate, also known as Indie String, on Ravelry, Google+, Facebook, Instagram. Yeah, that's about all the places I am, so come find me and see what I'm posting. Getting a little bit better about posting regularly. As we talked about before, I tend to be an insanely private person, and I didn't really realize how private I was until I tried to join social media. And then it kind of occurred to me. So I'm working on it, and I'm getting a little bit better. I hope everybody's doing great. I hope you had a wonderful Valentine's Day if you celebrate Valentine's Day. In my house, we don't celebrate Valentine's Day. I do with my daughter, but we pretty much celebrate it on Friday, because that's when school had a party, and she got to wear her new outfit, and so we did it on Friday. And actually on Sunday, I went to go pick us up some food. We hadn't eaten out in like a week, and I didn't really feel like cooking, and it's Oregon, so stick with me a little bit. There is like a little stand, and it's not really a stand, it is an actual building, but it has 3 seats on the inside. The littlest restaurant I've ever seen in my life. And it's a sushi place. And this sushi place doesn't just make rolls or chicken teriyaki. What they make is, they call them sushi burritos, and it looks like a burrito, right? But it's actually a giant roll that you eat like a burrito. Delicious. This stuff, just go with me, it's delicious. They are right in town. It's the only place I've ever seen that has them, and it's magical. Super magical. Okay, so I'm going to get in it. I'm going to try to go slower today. I feel like I really have been rushing the podcast for a while, and I haven't been giving you a lot of detail about the little bit that I have been knitting. Good news is that the last 3 times we talked, I kind of said that my Easter's awakening, my knitting's coming back. And it really is. It's coming back. I'm starting to dream about knitting. So we must be getting back to regular knit. I think my husband and I were talking about it. Not to harp on it or anything, but the last job I had just basically drained me. My mental state was really bad after I quit. Yeah. I just felt weak, unappreciated, unmotivated, and I hit it. I hit it really, really well to everybody but probably my husband. I felt defeated, lied to, tricked, stupid, ignorant, gullible, basically every bad emotion that I could feel about myself I felt in that situation. And so, been a rough time, but I feel like hopefully I'm coming out of it. My husband said it feels like we're coming out of like this fog where we were so stressed out and both working so much, 60 to 70 hours a week a lot of the year. And we did that for years. And, we kind of just went the complete opposite way, right? I didn't work for like a year. And I started Indie String, and it's been sporadic in my devotion, which you guys can probably tell, and I apologize. I apologize to everybody. It is the future I want, and I feel like I'm waking up to this fog or this haze where I went and did nothing, basically. I knew I should have done something, right? I knew I should be doing all of these things, but I didn't really have any drive. I didn't have any will to go out and actually do them and perform them. And it's starting to all come back, and I'm starting to embrace it again and want that and want the future and to work towards the future that I want instead of just focusing on the past and all my mistakes and everything that led up to that. I think for me, all I needed was a lot of time. And I had never been in a position where this has ever happened to me, ever. Where I was so defeated, where I did everything right, but I got taken severely advantage of and used and manipulated to the point of, emotional abuse. And I didn't know how to handle it. I didn't know how long it would take me, and I still don't think I'll ever be over it all the way. But at least now I'm feeling better. I'm feeling more more positively. Like I can change it. Like the future could be different. That I'm not in that same place anymore. And so that's been really great. Um, and other things have changed in my life dramatically. That help that feeling. That work wasn't the only thing going on. Let's just say that. And so other things have changed as well for the positive. But everybody in my family is wonderful. I do miss my Michigan family. Funny little anecdotes, and we'll totally get into knitting. I finished objects and everything. Can you believe it? But we, in our garage, had this huge landing, and it was a huge landing, and then you like turn 90 degrees and you walk down these steps to get into my garage. Well, it was a huge wasted space. I mean, gigantically wasted. And we could not figure out for the life of us why they just didn't build stairs down from the doorway. And so, we're from Michigan, and everywhere in Michigan, you open up the door and there's steps down, and then you're in your garage. It doesn't have this huge landing and, turn and go down. There was no reason for it. So we tore that out, and we put 3 steps. So the few things happened from that. Number one, it really makes me miss home. I don't know why, but it's such a Midwestern thing, a Michigan thing to me, that you just have steps going down and that's your garage. And so, I don't know, I've been feeling really homesick lately, which is good. Good and bad. Like, I don't want to be homesick, but it's really nice to feel like I'm getting back to normal, and then I'm homesick, and I will be going home this summer, so that's exciting. It's something to look forward to. But let's get into knitting and string stuff. So knitting first. So I've been knitting, and I've been doing some obligation knitting along with my sweater knitting, and we'll get into my sweater knitting in a little bit, but I have some finished objects. So the first finished object I have is it's just a hat, and it's from my husband's best friend. It may seem odd that I'm knitting him a hat, but I knit him a hat every single year. He is the only person that consistently calls me, texts me, and says, "Hey, lady, get me a hat." And so he is the only one that does it every year, and he is the only one that gets a hat every year. But, so, it's been difficult for me to find hats that are very plain for a boy and knit a new one every year. So, this year I turned to Knit Men Want, and there's several things in here that I like, but they have a hat pattern that I ended up knitting, which is, I'll try to block some of that, that's just words, but that hat right there, and it's actually also on the back cover without a folded brim. So, this pattern is called, sorry, should have told you that, the Watch Cap. And I really, really like this hat. It's nice and simple. I think it's modern but classic. More classic than modern, I think. But I knit this out of Madeline Tosh worsted in the graphite colorway. Graphene. I don't even know if she offers this anymore. I haven't purchased Madeline Tosh years and years. But this is from my old stash. And I actually bought a sweater's worth to knit my husband a sweater. But I figured I would steal one skein and knit his best friend hat. So I did a kind of quasi hat. And I knit this on, I believe, size 8. Yeah, I knit this on size 8, US 8, which is, hold on, I'm trying to be good. 5mm. So size US size 8, 5mm needles. And when I say it's quasi, it's because you cannot fold the brim over. I didn't make the brim tall enough that you absolutely had to fold it over. But so you have a little bit of a slouch back here, which is nice. I like that. This is how I would wear the hat probably. But my husband's best friend has really good hair. He really does. Excellent hair. And I wanted to give him some room because a lot of times he has quite a bit of a volume. And so I wanted to give him some room that if he wanted to not have it like crush like right close next to his skull really, really tight, that he could have a little bit more room up there. The second thing is though, I did knit it so it is at least enough that you can have a little bit of a, well, man, it's hard when you are trying to do this on camera because it is opposite. But you can fold this over just slightly and get a really nice folded over brim hat. It's a normal toque, which I really like it. I think it's versatile. It was a nice pattern. It was quick. It only took me a few days. But that's because I knit really slow. And although my knitting mojo is coming back, you guys, it's not as in full force as we would like it. But the decreases are nice on it. I haven't washed this yet, and I will wash it and we'll get it in the mail. But that is the hat. And then my husband requested, the next thing, my husband requested that I knit him a pattern. And so I knit, it's called the Cup Holder Mitten. This is a free pattern on Ravelry. And let me get you, this is the Ravelry page. And it is a mitten that basically has a circular opening for a can. So I knit this out of Cream and Classy, their worsted weight, and I knit it in black, and I put a gray trim on it on the side, and then the bottom, hold the cup, is also gray. And so what this is you put your hand in, and it's nice because you can put it on either hand, either arm, and then you put in your drink, and there you go. So now you can be outside in Michigan and have a drink, or wherever it's cold. This is going to somebody in Michigan. So my husband, I did such a good job on this one, he wants another one. This sucker took me forever. The knitting of the wrist and mitten portion didn't take me so long, but adhering it in the bottom did. So I am really not great at Kitchener stitch. And Kitchener stitch is really when you have two sets of live stitches and you want to bind them together and make it look like they're knitted together. It's like a seamless grafting. I really suck at this one. I have tried Kitchener stitch several times throughout my years, and I can't get the tension right. And I know it's something that I just really have to practice, or, avoid at all costs. So since I can't get it, and I tried to practice a few times, and I still really suck at it, I really think that its avoidance is going to be where I go for right now. Maybe when I'm full swing, like knitting a few hours a day again, I will go to the whole we just need to practice it. But right now, avoidance is key. So what I did is I did a 3-needle bind off all the way around, and I basically got that seam. Now, it's not the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in the world. However, it is very, very neat and strong. And this is for a boy. And if he doesn't like it, well, he's never going to say anything. He's never going to know, right? Sometimes I think of that when I knit. I know that I was supposed to do it a different way, but they don't know I was supposed to do it a different way, so it's going to be fine. So as soon as I got this done and woven in and washed, my husband asked me for a second one. And I will tell you, I am going to knit a second one, but there is no way I'm going to knit a second one in black because it was a total pain. I knit it in black basically so in case it gets dirty, it's not going to show the dirt as much. So somebody has it where I would imagine this person's going to keep it is their garage probably, you know, and I just wanted it to basically be able to look good. No matter if a boy throws it on some workbench and gets it in a little bit of grease and then takes a rag and smears it down the side of it and then be like, it's all right. So I made it in black. But let me tell you, picking up these bottom stitches in a double knit black yarn, horrible. And I will never do it again. Horrible. So I might knit another one, although it will be a little bit. And I might reverse it where the main part of the body is gray and then the bottom and the cuff is black. So try to see another one of these, but probably not for a month or two. I kind of need to recover from, you know, the 4 times I ripped out the bottom and had to try to repick up the stitches. My gauge was off. Part of that is that my gauge was off, and so I had to figure out the bottom stitches to connect the the bottom, like it's like the top of a hat. But if you knit too many stitches on that, then it basically becomes too tall, and it really looks funny. It looks like it's like cupped like this, and I didn't really like that at all. So I ripped it out several times to try to get my creases right, because I had a way tighter gauge than the pattern called for. And so when I went to go pick up stitches around the bottom of this, right around here, I ended up picking up a lot more stitches because I had a lot more rows around than the original pattern called for. And so because of that, I had to pick up more stitches around the bottom to make it it's not necessarily the same gauge, but I had more rows, so I picked up more stitches, if that makes sense. Because my gauge was tighter, you have to pick up more stitches to be able to make it all the way around. So I picked up significantly more stitches than the pattern called for, so I had to work the bottom several times. I got it though. It only took me a ninth of some concentration. Those are my finished objects. I can't believe I got 2 stuff done, and they're both were obligation knitting. And so my obligation knitting is free for a while, and I'm super excited that I don't have to knit anything for anybody else that I don't want to knit. All right. So on to what I have been knitting and haven't finished. So I have been knitting the James sweater, which is by Amy Miller. And I'm going to show you that's the pattern. It is a fitted at the top sweater, and it's kind of A-line where it goes out on the bottom, so it has a lot of movement. I have the body done. I'm super excited about it. So I'm knitting this out of Madeline Tosh Sport. And it is all over everywhere. The last time that I left you, I had knit the body, and I have been working on the sleeve. So this is where I picked up from the sleeve, and I think the last time that I showed it to you was maybe only an inch into the sleeve. So I'm almost all the way done in the sleeve. A few things happened, and I'm knitting this on size 5 US, hold on, 3 3/4 millimeter needles. And basically what happened is when I started up here, I thought I would be really clever. And for the sleeves only, I would not rotate. I would not, rotate a skein every single row. So I have been changing my skeins every single row to basically lessen, to lessen the any kind of pooling effect that the hand-dyed yarn might have in the body of the sweater. And I thought for the sleeves, it's such a different circumference, it's not going to be a problem. It was totally a problem. So from here to about here, I knit one single skein, and you can kind of see there's these stripes right here and right here, and I really didn't like it. So instead of ripping all the way back, since it was only about an inch, inch and a half, I then switched and started changing skeins every single row, and you're going to see now that it's a much more blended coloration effect. So it looks a lot better. And in real life, the contrast isn't that complete. You know, it isn't that jarring, but it looks a lot better. So I'm almost ready on this sleeve to start the ribbing. And I just attached my 5th skein of yarn. So I'm hoping that I can get to this sleeve and mostly to the next sleeve. Because after those 2 sleeves, all I have to do is pick up around the neck and do some ribbing and bind off. I do have one more skein, but if I don't have to dip into it to finish the sweater, I would really, really love it. So I can keep it and sell it or do something else with it. I really love this colorway, so probably I would knit something for someone else in this colorway. But we'll see what we can do. The other thing about knitting sweaters is you may remember I have quite a few sweaters on the needles, and several of them are pieced. And I have been really debating about what I want to do with those. I have been very poor in sticking with them. I don't really enjoy seaming very much. I have one sweater that all the pieces are done, but I haven't seamed it and done the finishing work. And I have another one where the sleeves are done and the back panel is more than half done, but the front is not. The problem that I am having is that I lost about 35 pounds in the last year, year and a half. I have really diligently worked on changing my lifestyle to a sustainable thing so I can, you know, lose weight and keep it off. I've changed my eating habits. I have changed my exercise habits, and a lot of it has to do with getting a Fitbit and realizing how sedentary I was, and also looking at my diet. But I have successfully lost 35 pounds, and I continue to lose weight. It's not as quick as it was, but I lose maybe a pound a week, maybe a pound or 2 a week, which is very sustainable, and I'm very happy with it. But this morning, before I started the podcast, I did my waist measurements because I was so curious. I've gone 2 sizes down on my bottom and a shirt size down on my top. And I was really wondering where my measurements were starting to fall. And I lost 5 inches off my waist, which is significant. I'm very excited that I lost that much. I thought maybe I lost, you know, an inch or 2, but 5 inches is significant, and I am over the moon. Over the moon, people! And so excited that small changes that I stuck with, you know, can amount so much. I would have told you when I was bigger that it was totally impossible, and I didn't have huge expectations for me making moderate changes, but it's really come together, and I'm very excited. However, that does mean that I have about 15 sweaters that no longer really look good on me. Some of them I can really get away with still for a while unless I lose a lot more weight. Many of them just don't fit me anymore. And so I'm trying to decide if the ones that I have all pieced together, or at least all the pieces knitting, I'm going to try to seam those together, and then I'm going to try to evaluate the ones that are half done and see if I just want to rip them out, or see if they're at a point where I can rip out the bottom portion. What happened to me was that and I still am totally built like this. I'm skinnier in my upper torso region, my arms and my shoulders, and then I basically had a baby, so it looks like it doesn't look like I do, okay? Let's admit it on the internet, I do. I get bigger around my waist, you know, and I have a small bust, so I'm a little curvy, and then I go way out on my waist. It's not that dramatic, but basically what happens is, so when I knit a sweater, what I would do is I keep my bust somewhat small, and then I would flare out for my hips. But now that I lost 5 inches in my hips, that flare out is so dramatic, it actually is making me look bigger than I am currently. I don't really want to rip out all of these sweaters. That's really rough. So what I think I'm going to do, and maybe I'll try with you guys, is I am going to have a fashion. Okay. I am going to put in a fashion show, and I'm going to put it at the end of this podcast today. And I'm going to do thumbs up or thumbs down, and everybody tell me what you think. If you like them, do you hate them? Should I get rid of them? And what should I do to get rid of them? Should I raffle them off? Should you be a member of the Ravelry group? Should we do like blind giveaways and baskets? Should we sell them for charity? I don't know. Hit me with your ideas. I will put a fashion show at the end of this. Maybe I'll only do 5 at a time, so there's no dramatic, huge difference, and a lot of time at the end. If I did all of them, it would take forever, but I'll do about 5 at a time, and everybody look at them and see what you want to do. And maybe we'll have a fun giveaway the next time we do the podcast. All right, so sweaters is done. Wow, that was a little bit more than you were anticipating, but I am going to finish the same sweater. I did increase the bottom slightly for a flare out, but this is supposed to be like this. It's supposed to be an A-line, so I'm not as concerned with how it's going to look. And my top, I did go down slightly, but I was starting to lose weight when I knit this. And I'm not saying I was aggressive when I scaled it down, but I did scale it down slightly, and so I'm very excited, and hopefully it will fit and look well. Or if not, hopefully I can put like a long sleeve shirt underneath it, so it'll be really warm. Okay, 2 more things. We're getting there. So since I had finished all my obligation knitting, I had decided that I wanted to cast on something for Indie Print. And I haven't worked with this colorway yet, but it has always been one of my favorites. It's definitely in this game. I'm sorry, you got dog hair on it. What happens when you have a dog that has white hair? This is Black Cherry. And that is looking extremely contrast. And it is contrasted, but not that much. But you can see it's really a burgundy and a pink. Or a burgundy and a purple, I'm sorry. And this is Superior worsted. It's the only yarn that we carry, which is 100% Falkland worsted weight 3-ply yarn. It is specially milled for us. We're the only ones that have this yarn for sure, and I love it. It is bouncy and light. It is airy and warm. It also takes dye well, and it almost, in this colorway, I feel like, I don't know, it's got such a depth to this colorway, and that's why I've always really loved it. This is one of the harder colorways to dye for us. It takes 2 days to dye this, which is a very long process. And it kind of happened as an accident. It was just one of those happy accident things that happen, and then it turned out fantastic, and we've always kept it. And it's my favorite colorway, or I should say one of my favorite ones. There's so many that I really, really love. But so I'm knitting Campside, and I will get that up for you in just a minute and show you the pattern. But this is how it looks right now. I'm through the first chart, and it's going really, really quick. I love worsted weight shawls. They are one of my absolute favorites. And so what I do mostly is I wear these all the time. I don't only wear them in the summer. I don't only wear them in the winter. I wear them in the summer, especially if I'm on the boat or I'm outside at night. A lot of times it's just cold enough that I need something over my shoulders, and I don't necessarily need a huge hooded sweatshirt or something. I wear my worsted weight shawls all of the time. I actually wear most of my scarves and shawls all year. Many people told me that I really should move to Sweden. There's a huge scarf thing over there, and I would totally fit in. I wear a cowl or a scarf every single day. But this is the pattern. This is a free pattern by Alicia. Is it Palmer or Plummer? She had this free pattern on Pom-Pom, and so you can find that on Ravelry. And it's going well. The pattern itself calls for EDK weight and size 7 needles, and I'm knitting a worsted weight with size 8. I do have more yarn than the pattern calls for because I'm going to use more yarn because my gauge is larger. However, I'm also hoping that I can make it a little bit bigger than it is now. And so this should really help size it up by using a larger needle and a heavier weight yarn. And so that's going to be exciting. It's going fast. I am through chart 1 and I'm starting on the second set of charts. What I would say about this pattern is you really need to pay attention to your stitch count. That's the only thing I don't really like. The pattern is clear and concise. The charts are extremely easy. This is an easy knit for me. And I would say it's an introductory pattern, except for one thing. I hate counting my stitches. I don't really hate it. I shouldn't say that. But when you get to 300 stitches, it's really not fun anymore to count your stitches. It kind of stinks. But what happens is in this pattern, it says repeat chart 1 until you reach so many stitches. And this is a free pattern, so I'm not giving anything away. So you knit chart 1 and 2 until you reach 125 stitches. Well, that is 2.5 repeats of chart 1. However, the chart isn't 100% correct because the repeat area of the chart isn't fully expanded to the whole chart. Maybe I'm knitting this wrong. It could be that I'm totally misunderstanding, although I have read through the entire pattern. And it looks fine, so I'm going to go with the way I've been doing it. However, I can see if this was the first thing that I knitted, or probably in the first few months of being a knitter, I would have been really, really confused. So follow your gut. Knit until you reach the stitch count and then go to the second set of charts. And you're going to end in the middle of a chart, which in knitting is kind of weird. Most of the time, a chart ends at the very end of the chart. You don't, keep on repeating that chart until you get to the middle. And if you do that and you get to the middle, usually there's something like you're going to end on line whatever after 2.5 repeats. In this pattern, it doesn't say anything like that. It just says keep on repeating until you reach this number of stitches. And so what that forced me to do was consistently count my stitches to forecast where I was going to be inside the pattern, which is completely fine. I can think for myself. There's most knitting patterns these days, instead of, making us think, they usually write us out everything. And so that's just not the way this pattern is. It's lovely. It is clear. It is an easy knit, and I'm very much enjoying it. So that is what I'm knitting right now, and I cannot wait to get it done and blocked. So that's really wonderful. As always, I love Indie yarn. It is bouncy and wonderful with good color saturation. The last thing I'm knitting, and I haven't even started this yet, and I have something new to show you as well. So many months ago, maybe not, yeah, it's probably months. Yeah, it's been months. I bought this handy dandy bag. So I bought this for a few reasons. The top portion here is hand woven fabric from hand dyed yarn. And so I really love it. I saw the same technique used probably 5 years ago, and there was one lady that was doing it. And she kept on saying she was going to open up a shop, and she never did. She knit several of them, sold them to her friends, or people on Ravelry, but she never did any kind of huge production that I knew about. And this might be the same exact lady that started it 5 years ago. I have no idea. However, somebody did start a shop with these. This is a 9-stick canvas on the bottom. Then on the top you have a woven fabric with a matching zipper and a pull. This is a very dainty in size, and it's not something I probably get a gigantic bag from. just because of cost. But I do really like this tiny one, and it actually matches my purse almost perfectly. I have a brown leather purse that I wear every day. So this is going to be my travel project knitting. I have never ever put knitting in my bag permanently. I will take what I'm knitting with me depending upon where I'm going in the car ride. But typically, I don't just have a project that only lives in my purse. And I'm really going to try it out. There's been several times where I've been somewhere delayed where I didn't know I was going to be delayed in this last few months that I wish I would have had my knitting. So I got a bag that matches my purse, and we are going to go for it. So what I put inside this is yarn and some needles. So both of these are going to be a new adventure for me. What I got asked for this year more than any other item from my friends was fingerless mitts. And they take me a little bit to knit. I also really like just the sleeves. I've knit them several times now. I really, really like them. They don't have a finger hole per se always. A lot of times in mine I put one, but they basically can be pushed down on your sleeve or pushed up. So what I'm planning on doing is knitting some sleeves that basically have a hole for a thumb hole. So you can put them up here or you can pull them all the way up if you'd like. And it doesn't matter. I don't want to put a full thumb on it, on these fingerless mitts, just because then you have to put them over your hand. If you want to wear them and them to look at all okay. Otherwise you just have it down here with a thumb sticking out. Oh, it looks too broad. I have many friends who want these, and my nieces I think would really like these. They're faster to knit without the thumb. The thumb is not my most favorite part to go back, pick up, and knit. I don't really love it, number one. And the second thing is that a lot of my friends work at coffee shops or have second jobs or they play soccer or they do something outside that they would probably like to wear them for a little bit but not the entire time. And the problem is, especially, let's take the coffee shop for example. So my friend who wants one works at a coffee shop. Well, if I put it with a thumb, she has to wear them over her entire palm the entire day. And a lot of times, when you're dealing with hot coffee, it's going to get all over it. So she would prefer just that they come to like right here, and she can pull them up and down depending on if she has as a customer or not. So I'm going to knit hers first, and just she can be my guinea and see where I go. But so I got 4 or 5 months ago, and I haven't used them yet, so I'm excited. I got the new Addi Turbo Sock Rocket, and I got 2 pairs of these, and I got them on sale. And I'm going to use a double needle method, and I'm going to knit fingerless mitts out of this crazy butt yarn. How crazy that is. This is from, I think it's called Little Red Bicycle. It was. Yep. I don't believe she's in business any longer. And I actually joined her club years and years ago. And she was still in business, obviously. But I would say more than 3 years. More than 4 years, probably. 3-4 years ago, I joined her club. And this was the band. And she had a travel destination club where she dyed yarn that represented a location for her. So this was the one for Mexico. And the yarn base itself, it was called Dapper. And it was 75% merino, 15% cashmere, and 10% silk. There's 400 yards in a 115-gram skein. It's a very generously sized skein, and it's a very nice yarn base. This was not a very popular colorway at all. I would say that most people really hated it. And I find I've had it for 4 or 5 years, and I found a very hard time trying to figure out how to incorporate it into a project. It is extremely colorful, and the colors are very distinctive. White, black, blue, and then pink. And the pink is a hot, hot pink, and the blue is like a turquoise. Oh, and there's purple. And I've seen this knitted up, and it looks okay. So I'm gonna try to knit it in a fingerless knit. It has lots of colorways, colors. It should match quite a few things, and I'm gonna see how it looks in the round. The other thing about this colorway, it looks really, really, really good woven. So if for some reason it looks horrible and I rip it out, I have a few other ideas of some stitches that I could do, some texture that would really break it up and make it look a lot better. But I'm going to try it in a round, just in a stockinette, and see how it goes. And I'll probably just knit a pattern from my head. I'll probably just make it up as I go along. But this is my new first knitting, and I probably won't show you this every week, you guys. I'll probably, if I record it every week, right? But I'll show you whenever there's enough progress to warrant that, you can see what's going on. I might knit a row on it, in a week, or I might knit 4 hours on it. It just depends on what's going on and where I get stranded. All right. Wow, this has been a really long episode, you guys. So we're almost done, though. We're almost done. We're almost there. And then after this, I will take pictures in a fashion show. And please be kind about any background you see, because I'm probably going to do it in my yarn room, which is somewhat ripped apart because I've been working hard in here. And I haven't been reorganizing, but I'm getting ready to move some furniture around because my nephew is going to live with me for the summer. And so I'm 90% positive at this point it's going to happen. And so we're trying to get the house ready to have someone permanently live with us for about 3 months. So I'm excited for him to be here. I am excited for this opportunity that has presented itself for him in his future, in his career. I think it's going to be really positive for all of us to have him here this summer, and I can't wait to show him and share Oregon with him, because he's never been here with us. So it's very exciting. However, my yarn room is no longer going to be in my yarn room. It is going to be his bedroom. So I have to do a lot of work. I'm a little scared at the amount of work I have to do. So you guys, if my knitting is light, I'll start telling you all the stuff that I'm doing in my yarn room. And hopefully after it, I will be able to show you the redone digs and all of the new storage that and storage solutions I'm going to have to somehow come up with, and I have no idea how I'm going to come up with any of them. So it's going to be great. Anywho, Indie Spring. Indie Spring has been really quiet lately, and that's because I have been in decision mode and trying to decide what I want. I still don't know what I want. I have been trying to figure out if I have enough time and dedication to really full bore do Indie Spring. I feel like I've been doing everybody somewhat of a disservice. I love my yarn. I love my yarn base. I love the colorways that I have, and I really like my product. I like the bags that are on the site. I like the site itself. I don't really have any complaints with anything like that. It's just, if you run any business, you need to have the dedication, and it needs to come first. It has to really warrant a level of dedication to it to be successful. And I haven't given it that kind of dedication, which is a disservice to everybody involved in the business itself. And so I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know. I don't know if anybody in the knitting community would really even miss me or miss Indie Spring at all. I don't know. And so I'm just going to try to follow my heart and talk to the other members of Indie String that are involved, because there's other people other than me that make Indie String happen. And they're the really that has been behind Indie String for at least a year while I've tried to sort out my own personal stuff, as we have talked about on the podcast. And so they really, I'm indebted to them more than I think I even realized. And now it's time to make some tough decisions about the future and whether or not we're going to continue on this path. I want to thank everybody who has supported Indie String and who has supported us in the past. It has not gone unnoticed nor unappreciated. And it can be as big as somebody made a purchase, which is amazing, right? I mean, amazing. Or it could be as small as, someone leaving a comment on the board, clicking on one of our ads, or, watching a podcast. I really appreciate every single one of you and every way that you have contributed to Indie String. In no way is too small. And every independent and small business would tell you the same thing. Everything helps and everything is appreciated. I really am so blown away by the care taken by people and the dedication. So thank you so much. I will keep you posted. Tell me your thoughts as well if anybody has any or would like to make any suggestions, positive and negative. It's all fair game. I won't take it personally. But I'm going to go get ready and do the fashion show. We're going to do 5 sweaters. Please make sure that you make comments on the board on Ravelry, on Indie String, and let's try to figure out what we're going to do with all these sweaters, and let's see if anybody's interested in getting some sweaters for themselves. And hopefully that we can have a nice, lively discussion and a great giveaway. We haven't done one in a while, and you guys keep on coming back to see me, and I think you deserve something for it. So hopefully it makes somebody's day. You guys have a wonderful week, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye, y'all. Hi, everybody. This is the sweater portion of the show that I promised earlier. I only have 3 sweaters for you today because the other 2, my husband saw them and liked them and wanted me to keep them. I'm going to try to convince him otherwise, but we will see. And so let's start with our first sweater of the day. So this one is, I don't even remember all of these sweaters' names. I remember knitting this. Knit this in Michigan. So I'll tell you what I like and what I don't like about the sweater. The first thing that I like the length. You can't see it, but it goes 18 inches from my armpit down. And this is the back. I like where it lays on my back. There's the middle of my butt right above the end of my butt. I like the pattern on the back. Biggest thing is the pattern on the back is the knit and purl pattern is obscured by the changes in yarn. This yarn is a merino worsted by Becoming Art in the Hearth colorway. It's a nice yarn. It is pilling, actually not pilling at all. It's really nice. I do have buttons here that are the nice leather buttons, as you see. The biggest thing about those are that if I'm going to keep this, I really need to put a backing on them there so they don't have so much give and so much room so they fall out of the buttonholes right now, even though they're the right size. So that's this sweater. I can button it all the way up. It's actually one of the better fitting sweaters that I have. So tell me what you think. Should I recycle the yarn? Should I give it away? Should I sell it? What should we do? So, the second one is, this is a short little crop cardi over it. I usually wore this over dresses, mostly in the summer. You can see it has 2 large triangular front sections that go out. This is a 50% wool, 50% silk blend. It is by the Little Red Bicycle, who is no longer dying. And it was a club colorway. So too, I like how it hangs on the side when you wear it with a dress. So I usually wore it with an all black dress that went to the floor. And the last sweater of the day that I don't really fit very well anymore is just another little sport cardi. I used to wear this quite a bit with like a black shirt that was long underneath. It does have see how it flares out. So it used to be 5 inches bigger, so it used to sit better on me. I think right now it actually makes me look bigger than I am. This is a fingering weight Hell Devil Flannel Cashmere Light, the original one, or the original yarn. She did make modifications to this yarn several years ago, but this is the first time it came out. This is in the forestry colorway, and yeah, it's a great little pattern. It's really nice. The hem is double knit, so it gives it nice weight, so it stays, this hem stays down and never floats up. And the cap sleeves are cute. Just the size. And yeah, those are the 3 sweaters that I would like to purge from my house. I'm going through a house purging. And so tell me what you guys think. Do you think that they look okay? I'm totally crazy. Would anybody be interested in them? Should we raffle them? Should we give them away? What should we do? So what do you guys think? I will post a new board in our Ravelry group. Come on over and tell me what you want to do, and that's what we'll do. Pretty simple. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for joining me.